Welcome into Duval Daily, presented by GenJag.com. I'm Jordan DeLuga. Thanks so much for tuning in here on Monday, November 18th. No news yet on any potential movement within the Jaguars organization. Any firings, we have not heard about it yet. Checking the old Twitter machine to make sure there's no news, and there is not. So as of right now, Doug Peterson is still the head coach. But I want to talk about a report from NBC Sports Pro Football Talk last night that I believe aired on television, NBC, pregame for Sunday Night Football. So a lot of people probably saw this. Mike Florio talking about the Jaguars' potential GM and head coach pairing for 2025. We're going to dive into it. Really appreciate y'all tuning in. The support of this channel means the world to me. If you enjoy the content, just please consider liking, subscribing, commenting. So, Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. I'll quote him here. He, Trent Baalke, could potentially survive into next year as part of a package deal that would reunite him with someone he has worked with back in 1998, 1999 with the New York Jets. That coach is available. He's won a few Super Bowls. His name is Bill Belichick. Wow. Just processing that. I mean, there's so many layers to peel back when you talk about Bill Belichick plus Trent Baalke, Jaguars head coach and GM. Moving forward. That'd be something. Let me know what y'all think. I'll go ahead and talk about it here. First, Mike Florio, he's wrong a lot about the Jaguars specifically. I mean, he was talking about them moving to London for over a decade. That's all I'll say on that front. So, one more thing. I would say take this report, if you even want to call it that, with a grain of salt. Now, would it shock me if Trent Baalke is somehow able to hold on to power in Jacksonville? Would it shock me if Shad Khan was interested in Bill Belichick, the greatest head coach of all time? No, neither of things would shock me. Not one bit. Now, I'm going to start with this. We're going to work our way through it, though. If Bill Belichick would honestly want to work with Trent Baalke, I don't want him. I don't want a coach that wants to work with Trent Baalke. And I've made that clear. Every year I've talked about, should Trent Baalke be fired? And I'm not doing that personal vendetta or anything like that. I'm doing it from a results standpoint. Trent Baalke's record over the last decade as a general manager is 38-72. 1 playoff appearance. And 5 coaches fired if you include Doug. Right? Had a massive schism with Jim Harbaugh. Hired Jim Tomsula. He was one and done. Hired Chip Kelly. He was one and done. And then Baalke also got fired. Worked his way over to Jacksonville after a few years off. Somehow vaults up the hierarchy. Becomes GM after Dave Caldwell and Doug Marrone are out. And first year with Urban, fired. And I know everyone talks about, all the bad Urban did. And he did. I mean, he was the worst head coach I've ever seen in my life. Just disrespectful to everyone he worked with. Unprepared. All the stuff. Bad off the field. But if you ask Urban Meyer about Trent Baalke, not going to have good things to say. Then you talk about Doug Peterson. Guarantee you when this is all over and Doug's playing golf somewhere, he's not going to be saying a lot of positive things about Trent Baalke. Trent Baalke does not cultivate a positive culture. Bottom line. So if Bill Belichick would honestly want to work with Trent Baalke, again, I don't want him. I don't want any head coach that wants anything to do with Trent Baalke because that's a sinking ship It's somebody who doesn't have your back. It's somebody who somehow clings to power like a magnet. It's crazy. And the record speaks for itself. In the last decade, 38-72, one playoff appearance, 5 coaches fired if you include Doug. So, yeah. That would not be a pairing I would be okay with. But if you want to just talk about Bill Belichick for a little bit, which I do, because again, I do think that Shad Khan would be interested in going down that road. I'm not saying that's the road the Jaguars will go down if Doug Peterson gets fired. And again, if you haven't been paying super close attention, the reports were that if the Jaguars get blown out, both Josina Anderson and Ian Rappaport shared it, that there could be change in Jacksonville, whether that be head coach, GM, both, whatever, right? Still no news, just making sure we're not missing anything because it is, news reporting time. Daniel Jones has been benched by the Giants. So Bill Belichick, I have no doubt that he would get this organization in order from a culture standpoint, working hard. He's tough, but he's smart. Very hardworking. He's got the rings all over those fingers, right? He would get, in my opinion, the football culture in order. And with the group that is here, I think that it would culturally, football coaching wise, it would work because you have a bunch of hardworking players that will buy in to their coach as long as that coach is bought into them. And I think, of course, Belichick would want to work with a Trevor Lawrence. He would want to work with some of the offensive line pieces, Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker, Eric Armstead, even Foye Oluokun, Tyson Campbell, right? There's guys that Bill Belichick would be excited to work with, and I think that those guys would buy in. I absolutely do. So I think he could get the culture part going in the right direction, probably. We're going to continue to talk about this, what he would bring defensively, offensively, all that good stuff here. But first, got to remind you all to check out Underdog Fantasy for Pick'em and a whole lot more. You can use code Duval Daily, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash Pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. This season, Underdog is running specials, promos, bonuses almost every single day, like Profit Boost. You can pump up your winnings in just a tap when you apply the boost to eligible entries. Jaguars, they're on their bye week this upcoming week, so not going to be looking at any Jaguars pick'ems, but look around the league. Maybe do yourself some favors. Unfortunately, you're not going to be able to pick a running back to score against the Jaguars, which has been very, very smart lately. But if you do want to pick a running back from around the league, Underdog has Vulture Protection to rescue your pick'em. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code Duval Daily to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus Massachusetts and Arizona, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Arizona 1-800-NEXT-STEP. That's 1-800-639-8783 or text NEXT STEP to 53342. New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-8778-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy. If you're supporting them, you are supporting us here on the channel. So, getting back to the Bill Belichick and Trent Baalke talk. Defensively, Bill Belichick, the defensive coach, I think he would get that side of the ball popping too because there is talent. You add a couple different pieces here and there. And again, the Jaguars have a lot of salary cap space. They have a lot of draft capital. There's a lot of zeros that Shad Khan is willing to write on a check, whether that be to the head coach, free agents, doesn't matter. I think Bill Belichick would really get the defense playing at a level that we just haven't seen in a long time. You saw them play pretty darn good at the beginning of 2023. Fell off quickly. I think he would be able to change this team to have a quality defense. And if you gave Trevor Lawrence a consistently quality defense, that is enticing. Because you're just saying, get us 14, get us 20 points. Yeah, Trevor Lawrence can do that. So, I think he would get the best out of Josh Hines-Allen, Trayvon Walker. I think he would get Eric Armstead on the field on the interior. And I think, Devon Hamilton quietly has been a very good player for the Jaguars too. And then Foye, I would love to see Bill Belichick work with a Devin Lloyd and get him going. Ventrell Miller, both of those guys, I think that they could have massive potential under different coaching staffs. And then again, in the secondary, you've got Tyson, you've got Jari, and you got a couple pieces you got to upgrade and fix. But, I think Antonio Johnson's the type of player Bill Belichick could get a lot more out of. Andre Sisco, certainly, but he's a free agent, so who knows? I think he would know how to use Darby's skill set better than what we've seen. And who knows, Darby could be a cap casualty. Jaguars would save about half of his salary by moving on, almost $3 million against the cap. So who knows? But I do think Bill Belichick would get that defense going. He's such a smart tactician. His guys play hard, they play smart, they play tough. But the crazy thing about it is he can game plan like pretty much no other defensively. What he did, and look, Doug Peterson, he out game planned him for the Super Bowl in 2017. He did. But you've seen Bill Belichick out game plan coach after coach after coach after coach, including Sean McVay in the Super Bowl. So yeah, I think defensively, hell yeah. Now, I would be absolutely terrified of what he would do with the offense. And as much as I can sit here and tell you, defensively, if, you get that defense holding teams to 14, 20 points a game consistently, Trevor Lawrence would get it done. Would Trevor Lawrence be able to get it done when you look at, Bill Belichick, what he's done at the receiver position lately, what he's done with his offensive coaching staffs lately? I mean, it's been Bill O'Brien, and then he had two guys that didn't even know how to run an offense at all at the NFL level, two guys that hadn't done it, a special teams coach in Joe Judge and a defensive coach in Matt Patricia trying to run the Patriots offense. That's terrifying. And one caveat here is like any coach that we can talk about, potential coach, their coaching staff matters immensely. So it's not like I can't sit here and say for sure, like, well, Ben Johnson, sign me up 100% because I don't know who the defensive coordinator would be necessarily, right? It's the full picture matters. I would be more excited about Ben Johnson just on the surface than a Bill Belichick, but at the same time, if Bill Belichick comes in and hires a good offensive coach and just kind of leaves that side of the ball to that offensive coach a little bit, that could work. That could absolutely work. And we haven't seen a Ben Johnson or a Joe Brady or an Aaron Glenn, you name it, young up-and-comer, actually handle being able to be a head coach. They've never had that responsibility before. It's not easy. And Bill Belichick's done it at a very high level for a very long time. So there's pros and cons, no doubt about it. Now, again, if we're just talking about Bill Belichick and Trent Baalke together, not the direction I would go. Not at all. Any coach that feels comfortable working with Trent Baalke, that is a sign of bad judgment, poor judgment, especially now. But if you're just talking about Bill Belichick, different GM, tell me who the offensive coordinator is, we could talk about that. Certainly. Again, let me know what y'all think in the comment section below. If you enjoy the content, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. You can also check out genjag.com/shop, pick up some new Duval gear, become a channel member here on YouTube. Y'all have a good one.